Hey guys, this is Marcus with Blacks on Bikes, and I just want to let you guys know that I have Miss D. Simone here with me today, all the way from New Jersey, right?
Yes, New Jersey.
New Jersey. What city in New Jersey?
In Willingboro, New Jersey. That's South Jersey. 20 minutes away from Philadelphia. 30 minutes in Trenton. Actually, I work in Trenton, so yeah, about 30 minutes.
So like I said, guys, I got Miss D. Simone on here. Very nice lady, has a beautiful spirit. She also has her own business too, as well. All right, and I'll let her give you guys the website a little bit later, towards the end here. So, starting out today, I just want to ask you, Miss Simone, the all-important question: how first, how long have you been cycling, and how did you get into cycling?
I've loved cycling basically all my life, recreational, like we all have.
Right.
The one major cycling event that I did maybe about 17, 18 years ago was the Boston to New York AIDS ride, and that was for my mom.
Right.
Peace and blessings upon her. She's not here anymore, but she was here to see me complete that ride. However, I was not nearly as knowledgeable about cycling as I am today. So
how far was that ride? I'm sorry, I mean, how far was that ride?
Over the weekend, 275 miles.
Wait. Over the weekend, 275 miles?
Yes.
So that's like 130 plus miles a day?
Yes. The way they broke it out was 100, and then the third day was 75. And so fast forward up to about a year ago, I had gone through a very ugly divorce, and I was in a particular state of mind, and I had that same bike, and one day I just said, yes, the same bike.
Was it a road bike or just a tour?
No, it was a Trek hybrid.
Okay, hybrid. Ooh,
yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was a hybrid bike. And I was sitting around, and I was trying to figure out what my next steps were going to be and what my next move. So I just said, I'm going to go for a ride. And after I went for a ride, I started looking on Facebook for groups, and I found this little local cycling club that I joined. And from that point on, so to answer your question, for the last year or so, I've been riding consistently. And I learned a wealth of information, and I've encouraged and brought women into it along the way as well. So I'm having fun. It's exciting. I feel like it actually saved my life in a lot of respect.
Wow, that's saying a lot, and that seems to be the general consensus with us who've started cycling a little bit later in life. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yes, absolutely, and I definitely feel that way. And now I've learned since that ride many years ago, I've learned a lot in terms of technique, in terms of proper fit, and groups and resources like yourself has really taught me a lot. I'm still learning a lot, but I'm like I said, I'm having fun. I'm getting more and more women interested in riding, which is exciting for me.
Right.
And
so what kind of bike do you have now? You still have that same bike?
Oh, I had that same bike, and then when I really started to fall in love with cycling, and I could not afford to go out and buy a road bike at the time, I actually found a vintage Fuji bike at a yard sale for $25, and then I took it to the shop, and he gave it a tune-up and a whole overhaul, and I rode that Fuji for 7 months straight until I was able to really invest in the bike. And now I have a Live Fit Giants, and Giants make it the women's specific bike, and it has the disc brakes and all of that stuff. So that's really fun to ride now. But I did work my way up to this point. So
Yeah, we all have to work our way. And I know that bike you're talking about. That's a nice bike.
Yeah.
And Giant is actually, I mean, they've become like one of the leaders now as far as like aerodynamics and comfort ride and also price point. That's probably one of the best values brands out there now is Giant.
I just enjoy cycling altogether, and it's really, really an awakening experience because not many of us were interested in cycling on this level. So I'm really making an impression on many women, and I can't specify that enough. Right. And I'm humbled when they message me and they say I haven't ridden a bike in years or since I was a child or
usually since I was a child. That's usually what I
Yes. and sometimes they are a little intimidated because when we get kitted up, we look like something out of a magazine, and they're like, "Whoa, do I really need all of that?"
Right.
So, I tell them no. We start simple. We go to the park, do a couple of loops around the park, start there, and then we'll work our way up. But I love it.
Stay tuned for more Blacks on Bikes podcast for more interviews, music, and info. You are now listening to That Crank.
What's up? What's going on with everybody? Hey, it's Marcus here with Blacks on Bikes, and I just want to take a quick minute out and thank all of the new members that have joined Blacks on Bikes. All right, just coming to the group here over the past couple of months. And then also I wanted to give you guys an idea on how the podcast is going to be segmented out. So it's going to be two different segments. One on just focusing on interviews, all right, and a little bit of news. And then the other one is going to be focused on music with a little bit of info and news too as well. So those are the two segments to expect. And then a little bit later on down the road, probably within about a month or so, or maybe earlier, we're going to be adding the video portion of our podcast too as well, okay? And then we got some other really, really great things that I'm really, really excited about. This looks like it's about 7 different things. Well, about 5 different things this year and 1 next year. All right, so we're working hard over here to provide the most value we can for you guys. All right, love you guys so much. And if you have any other questions, anything else going on in our community, please feel free to email us at blackonbikes@gmail.com. So that's black without the S, blackonbikes@gmail.com. Okay, and we'll make sure we get that information out to the rest of the community. All right, love you guys so much. Let's get back to the interview. Yikes.
Right, and I've taken some women out who have never been athletic before in their life, and I'll say, hey, we're just gonna go for a ride, and they were actually surprised because when we come back from the ride, now we're not riding as fast as I would ride by myself, of course, but when we come back, and I say, well, how far do you think you rode? And they say, ooh, like 5 miles, and I'm like, no, you actually rode 18 miles today. I'm actually surprised. Now, like I say, taking into account, we take, maybe 2 or 3 breaks versus while somebody riding, but
right.
I'm surprised that they rode like the first time, never been, and these are like over 40, and never have did any type of physical exercise in their life, and they're able to ride 18 miles, man, and enjoy.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. So it's not one about having all of the kit and all that. We normally want that when we first get started. But to go back to what you were saying, that you have ridden that Fuji, I actually see those older classics as people having that as a second bike, but it's going to be more of a fashion statement bike. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
I see people going back that retro style, but they're going to put their own flair, and that's going to be their fashion statement, cruising around town to the cafe or the bar, whatever the case may be. What do you think of that?
No, I do. I believe I'm probably going to fall into that category because I'm definitely not getting rid of it. And I had met a friend of mine in a cycling group that's in London that not refurbished, but he when they fix those classic bikes up or whatever. I forget the terminology. But he spoke to me about that. But, I can see myself doing that. I can see myself doing it because the bottom line is when you fall in love with cycling, right?
Right.
It never ends. It never ends. And you know, it's like a lover of cars. Okay, I want to take this one out today. I want to ride this one today.
Right, exactly. I never thought of it that way, but that's exactly how it is. Like I'm looking into some classic bicycles because that may be the one I may still have on my cargo pants and still have the regular pedals. But that would be the one that I would, wear like my cargo pants and maybe my polo shirt out.
Right.
And go down to the, through the town and just hang out and grab a little bite to eat or something like that. But that would be the fashion statement bike.
Yes.
Versus the long distance bike. All right, so let me ask you now. Being up in New Jersey, where is the popular place to go? Where are the cool trails up in, you said Jersey, right?
Yes. Jersey City is closer to New York, and I'm closer to Philly. So Philly is very bike friendly. There's a lot of, they have a lot of bike friendly trails over there, and the scenery. They have a beautiful trail, Schuylkill River Trail, that goes up for one way. We can go up that trail like 30 miles or so, just one way and scenic route. So and there is a few parks on this side of Jersey, a few trails here. Smithville Bike Trail, and however, I would say going over to Philly is worth taking the trip. So when I have these group rides or want to introduce a new rider to new scenery, I'll just hop over to Philly, and it's safer on the bike trail also.
But I think too, the new beginner rider think that they're going to ride the trails like all the time, but eventually there's going to come that time for what I've seen, there's a love for that open road, like in a rural area where there isn't that many cars. Have you experienced that too as well? Do you like riding in the open road?
Yes, I love riding in the open road. Actually, I love riding in all weather also. I'm telling you, my neighbors think I'm a nut. I will ride in the rain. I will ride in the cold. If it's 32, if it gets to 32, I'll go out. Below 32, I may take another look at it, but I've been known to layer up and venture out. But, I just love being out there in the open road. There's one young lady that I've been mentoring or coaching up lately. Just yesterday I was out riding with her, and every time I looked back when we were on the incline, the only thing I could see was the top of her helmet because she was looking down. So I said to her, you have to face that incline. You have to look it dead in the eye. She's like, I don't want to because it's going to remind me how hard it is to get up there. I said, no, you have to conquer it.
Right.
But that's the open road that you were speaking of. That was in the rural area. We didn't have a lot of distraction, but I love that. I love that. Yes.
Because the open road. You have a chance to. Cycling is just so freeing on so many different levels: mind, body, spirit. It's an experience. It really is.
I agree. I would venture to say if more people tried it, then we will have less folks on antidepressants and a bunch of other medications. If they would actually just give it a try and stick with it, because it will offer you that as well as good health. I was speaking to a dear friend of mine because I sort of consider myself a sort of introvert, but you wouldn't know it. If you didn't know me personally, you wouldn't know it. But when I put myself out there to really represent this the sport. I have to be able to connect with the folks and interact with them, and as long as they're with it, I'm there, and as long as they're committed, I'm there. So I have to remove myself out of the way. I look at it like this: when we talk about our purpose, yes, cycling is our passion, but when we speak about our purpose, then we have to really remove ourselves out of the way and just work our purpose, and that's what I do, and that's all I keep in mind when I'm out there, and I'm an author also, so I can't use my purpose to write a book and then not expect for folks to come to me to ask me, I don't know, suggestions, opinions, or what have you. Right. I just open myself up to it by putting that material out there, so I have no choice. So it works itself out.
And I want to stay on that topic just for a second, because I consider myself very introverted, but here I am, I am on doing a podcast, which some people would look at it as, okay, he's the authority. No, I feel the same. I still have the same hesitations that everybody else who's probably listening has when it comes to their gift. You understand? And I'm sure that you felt that same way, right?
Yes, absolutely.
But we all have gifts that are designed to reach certain people. And what I liken that to is, even in, I don't know what people believe in, but even in ministry, a man that's suit and tie and lawyered and, been to college and has degrees is going to probably have a hard time reaching a man that's on the street. But a man that's on the street can reach a man that's on the street. But a man that's on the street may not be able to reach the man in the White House. So all of us, with our life experience, have a sphere of influence on a particular group of people. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I know you understand.
Absolutely. Yes, no. I say that passionately and humbly because I do. I hear what you're saying, and I think the more folks see that and recognize that, it will encourage and inspire them as well. And many times in life, it does take a life-changing event to bring that out, because as I stated earlier, that my divorce, my ex-husband now wouldn't even recognize the woman I am now, and we were married for 10 years because the evolution took place, right? So sometimes something we may look at as being so devastating or what have you can really been the very thing that was in the way. It's like, get out of the way so I can soar.
Exactly. Yeah, because it seems that we have to come to that realization, like, when something like that happens to us, it's like, okay, now I see that all this other stuff that I held in high regards, whether it was materialistic, whether it was, finances, whether it was, being a world traveler, whatever the case may be, all that stuff kind of falls off of you, and you get down to the core of who you are. So you figure out, okay, what's going to actually make me happy, and what the question that usually comes before that is this all there is to life?
Right.
And then from that place on, once you strip all the rest of that stuff away, then we can get into actually living and being free.
There you go. Exactly. Bingo. Exactly. And it's true. No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to tell the listeners that Dee, like I said, I'm going to give you a chance to give them the website here in a little bit. But she's, like I said, she's an author, and she has the Morning Coffee with Dee, and then she has some other...
Knowledge, understanding, and wisdom.
Got it.
Exactly. So when I pronounce it, I just pronounce it as the letter Q, because it just rolls off easily, but the KUW does stand for knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. And let me just jump in a little bit about that title there, because how I came up with that is because over the years, through our studies or through our religious sectors or whatever we were exposed to, we always heard knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And then one day I was just going through it, and I was sitting saying, you have to gain, in my opinion, you have to gain understanding before you can then apply the wisdom. So for me, it was the reverse. So I started to set out to do some research on my theory, and I went to some of the folks that self-proclaimed scholars and gurus, and I said, what comes first, understanding or wisdom? I didn't even tell them why I was asking. I just wanted to hear what they thought. And first they said, let me get back to you, because I guess they had to process it as well. And that's how that whole name was even born. And so you have to have knowledge, and then once you understand the knowledge you obtain, then you can use the wisdom to apply which that you understand. So that was the whole premise that was based on. Again, I've published a book under my company. I'm working on the second one, and I have statement T-shirts that I also do through the company. But the premise of it is just to empower, inspire, motivate, and educate through fashion, community outreach, because some of the community, the grassroots community programs that I'm involved in are domestic violence and homelessness, because those are two things. I mean, we have a bunch that we can probably discuss, but those are two things that are near and dear to me that I interact with on that grassroots level. So it's maybe a year and a half old. So between me riding the bike and coming up with this, it came out of the divorce. So it wasn't that bad after all.
So what's the name of the books?
The first book that was released last year is called Coffee with D, and that can be purchased on my website, which is www.Q, which is spelled KUW, creations.com. So that's www.qcreations.com. And the next book that I'm working on, it's halfway done, is called Focus, and that's an acronym for Free Others, Concentrate on Understanding Yourself. In that book, I have 7 principles to the evolution of self. Now, everybody has their own different philosophy and their own different principles. These are my 7 principles that work for me. Right. So between cycling, working on those projects, and then I have my career, I stay pretty busy.
And that career is you're a school teacher, correct?
Yes, I'm an elementary school teacher in Trenton Public School District. Yes.
So you have a plate full, right?
I do. But it's all good, though. It's all good.
I imagine that, the Cool Creation was one of those things, as we begin to step out in our gifts and our passion, our purpose, there are some things that we feel like we want to do because we feel like they may make money, but then there's that one thing that you finally come across that it won't leave you alone until you do it. Was Cool Creations like that for you? And it sounds like it was, but I just want you to hear your answer.
Yes, you're spot on with that. It absolutely was, because prior to me becoming an educator, I was in corporate, but I left corporate to open up a boutique. Now, when I opened up that boutique, it was shoes, handbags, accessories, and to be very, very honest, I got into it to make money. I didn't feel passionate about going into work. I didn't feel, overly joyed. I said I just wanted to see what the bottom line was and if I was in profit mode. That's what that was. And here we are some years later, when I was at probably one of the worst points in my life, going through what I was going through. I was sitting and assessing myself in trying to figure out, as we constantly do, knowledge of self. And I said, if I were to go into business, it has to be everything that encompasses me. Forget the money part right now,
Right.
but it has to be everything that encompasses me and that speaks to my philosophy, what I'm about, and so forth. And you're absolutely right. That's why so much thought was given into this particular project that was later on birthed into my business. So, yes, you are correct.
Yeah, and you know why I can say that? Because usually when somebody comes out with something like that, because they've been through it themselves. Because, you know, I was into network marketing, MLM, and all that other stuff, but it was just because entrepreneur sounded good, and
Right.
it was cool
Right.
to be.
Yes.
My heart wasn't in it. So actually,
Right.
Blacks on Bikes, even though I learned a lot of things in network marketing and internet marketing and stuff like that, like I learned how to build own sites and all, websites and all that stuff. So I really sat down and said, okay, what do I really love, and I can talk about, and that I naturally research, and that became cycling. So I got a chance to blend all the things I love, food, travel, and cycling, and people.
Right.
So, I just urge everybody to listen and make sure that you just want to do inventory. And we're living in the greatest time in human history to where the barriers of entry, meaning the internet, the cost is like zero. You got YouTube and Facebook, so there's no excuses now. Yep. But getting back on that, I did have a few more questions and that I want to ask you. Okay.
Sure.
What is your favorite food?
Salmon.
Man, I just had salmon yesterday.
Don't even tell me that right there. I mean, I could eat salmon all day, every day.
You know what, though? I like that blackened salmon with some squeezed lemon, with some squeezed lemon and some squeezed lime on cilantro.
Yes. Yes, and the one that goes on to the wood planks. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I could eat that every day.
All right. Favorite music or genre of music, I guess I should say.
It's funny because I do love jazz, absolutely. However, I am a hip hop lover at heart, and I'm a self-proclaimed lyricist. I do freestyle on my own over here. And
hey, man,
so there you can catch me playing Najee and him with with the jazz or what have you, or you can catch me right now in my car. I have Kendrick Lamar that I haven't taken out yet. So that's in heavy rotation right now.
Gotcha. Let me ask you. That's funny. I grew up with really just hip hop. Now, once I got in the Navy, I remember I'll never forget this. 1992. I was laying down in barracks with school, and I heard this white guy across the hall from me. I heard this crazy bass line, like guitar bass, and it was Metallica. So from that point on, I kind of opened up my brain. Now,
right.
Forward,
I'm also a lover of music, so yeah, I think music is it's the heartbeat to the soul.
Yeah, especially I think I went through a real heavy phase of neo soul and then also some George Benson and some Michelle Indiocello and all that.
Yes.
All right. So, in one word, what does cycling mean to you?
Yeah, I know I'm going to say freedom, which is probably what.
Everybody says the same thing. Everybody says the same thing. Freedom.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
All right, and I got two more questions. All right, one is normally my observation is I don't see many blacks, African Americans under the age of 35 cycling, and my observation is, because usually at that age or under that age, we're preoccupied with club, fashion, trends, life, the white picket fence and marriage and all that other stuff. Trying to gather things. So that's just my opinion, my observation. So what do you think lends more to that under 35 not being into cycling? Because most of them even, kind of mock it, especially if you're a guy wearing tight spandex and you go to the hood to get you a Coca-Cola, because it's actually happened to me. And they laughing at you and talking about you. So what's your observation on that?
One, I would have to say lack of knowledge being number one. And they really don't have that many visuals to go on, because our culture is not strong in that area. Right. So men at that age or under, typically they kind of just go with the flow with mainstream society. So if they don't really see that happening, but if Jay-Z starts cycling, then they'll all start cycling probably. Right. I don't know, but you know how that goes. Yeah, but I believe it's just corny to them until they learn, and when they learn better, then they'll do better. And I do have to say that our presence, people like you and I in the different cycling groups, is making a huge impact. Because some of my brother's friends, my brother, he's younger than me, but some of my brother's friends, when they see me post pics, they click like on them and they're like, wow, what's that about? And a couple of them says, well, I thought about getting into it, easing into the conversation. So I think we're setting the example. I think we're making that impact on that generation.
Yeah, and that was actually the whole purpose of because it's not putting anybody else's thing down, but I put a lot of thought into it, and I noticed that there was black girls run, black men run, black girls bike, and black girls do bike. I think it's two of them. So I didn't want to have that separation in the cycling because everything else was already separated. So that's the reason why I did blacks on bikes, so that we can get together as a group and as a family. And right. Also, people of color usually are not, educated in areas of cycling. So this is probably I don't know if it's a bad question to ask, but would it be safe to say that blacks who cycle are like renegades, mavericks, and are like self-starters or thinkers? They don't have to follow the pack mentality. You understand what I'm saying? Or
I believe it can just be just the fact of exposure. A lot of people that in our circle have maybe been exposed more. Like you said, you've been in the Navy, and I read and hear the different backgrounds from a lot of the folks that's in the group. They come, this diverse background, so they were exposed more, they learned more, they knew more, and interacted with all these different types of people. And because we're guilty for staying in one little cluster in our zip code. How dare we even go out of our zip code? So that's what I meant by smarter, not like in like book or educational. No, I got you. Yeah. Smart enough to realize that, hey, I don't need anybody else's
opinion on what I want to do with my life. That's
No, I perfectly understand, and I do. I just think it's lack of exposure. Like if they would get out more and have a more open mind, and they don't have to adopt everything and go out there and see, but just experience. Yeah. I'm pretty right. And you'll know if it's for you, if it's not for you. But how are you gonna know if you're not, giving yourself that opportunity? And that's what it's about, opportunity.
Yep, you're absolutely correct. All right, and the last one here, question. I always like to ask this question is, what country or city would you like to visit and go cycling in? Or
yeah.
Or cities.
Okay. I'm going to say California because they just blow it up like it's the greatest thing ever. So it does make me feel like I want to, go out there and experience some of the hype. And I say hype because I haven't done it yet. And then so I would say to, the very near future, I would say I would want to take a little trip to California just to see how it is. And then I'm sure I'll have other places on my list, but the one that can pop in my head right now, I would say California.
And I would tell you, I've been there a couple of times. I didn't get a chance to really, I've been to San Diego, and I didn't get a chance to really get out much because at the time I was in the Navy and I only had 10 hours to go out or whatever, to hang out or whatever. But, and I wasn't there overnight. So, saying all that to say, I don't think it's hype, and I haven't been since 2000. Cali is, the mentality, of course, is totally different. Very laid back. They welcome ideas and being different.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, and I've met some good people through the groups that's out there, and I've met good people period through this whole cycle in life, and it's just been a wonderful thing because it's constant learning every day. You're learning something.
And it does not get boring at all.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
It's like a kid with high-tech Legos. There's always something you can add.
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Sister, Miss D. Simone, I really appreciate you. And thank you so much for your time, and I hope all the listeners get a lot of value out of, I know they're going to get a lot of value out of hearing your cycling experience, and then also hearing how you got started in cycling and actually coming from a women's perspective too as well. So I thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, I thank you, and I appreciate what you're doing, and you have my, total support. And, I enjoy talking with you.
All right, and before we go, just tell the listeners one more time where they can find you and reach you at again.
Sure. I'm on Facebook as D. Simone, DeeSimone, and my business website is www.KUWCreations.com, www.qcreations.com. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, sister. Now, hold on just a minute, and I'm going to talk to you for just a second. So thank you, guys, for visiting the podcast here at Blacks on Bikes. And like I said, you subscribe to Instagram, Blacks on Bikes, and then Facebook as well, too, okay? And then also subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to find more. There's a little bit different things that go on each platform, okay? Love you guys, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.
The boys, they chase the noise through